Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. All right, so before we get into what we're going to talk about today, like usual, if you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03 at hotmail.com, or you can send me a text message at 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you want to if you need any help with anything, you can just let me know. You can reach out to me through that number. If you want to call, just send a text to that number. Just let me know that it's you and you want to talk about your narcissistic experience, or that you need some advice, or you need some help, or you just have some questions about some of the content that I create. You're more than welcome to reach out to that number. You're more than welcome to email me, and we can set up a session and get you the help that you need. So, what we're going to be talking about today is Narcissus. Yes, Narcissus. So, for those of you who study Greek mythology, what, who was Narcissus? What is Narcissus? Who is Narcissus? Well, Narcissus, Greek mythology, is a hunter who, let's put it this way, fell in love with himself. He rejected the advances of women and men, and as a result, when he rejected their advances, he rejected becoming getting into relationships with them. Relationships, regular everyday relationships. I mean, guys, he rejected the relationships of men and women, and instead looked at himself. Now, Narcissus looked at himself so long in a pond that he started beating himself up because and the reason why he beat himself up was because he was so in love with himself that he believed inside of his mind that nobody and nothing could be better than him. So, what does that have to do with narcissism? Well, what do you know? What's one thing? What's the most important thing to know about a narcissist? What makes a narcissist a narcissist? Well, the answer is that what makes a narcissist is their constant need for admiration, is their constant need to think that they are better than everybody else, is their constant need to think that they're the most beautiful looking person in the world, that nobody else can do better than them. That's what the real definition of a narcissist is. Now, and I made a video on the difference between a narcissist and somebody who's just a toxic person, someone who's a challenging person. The difference, again, and I'm going to mention this again, guys, because this is really important. The difference between a narcissist and a toxic person is that a narcissist lacks the ability to empathize. And the other thing about narcissists is that they love themselves to the point where they cannot love anybody else. And the difference when you're relating that to a toxic person, toxic people have challenges. Yes, we all know somebody who is toxic, somebody who has challenges, somebody who you don't get along with, who just doesn't see eye to eye with most people. Toxic people, yes, they have challenges, but see, the difference between toxic people is that to a point, they're toxic because of an experience that they had, and most of the times some toxic people are capable of getting help for their problems, and they end up and some of the times they can actually turn out to things can turn out to work in their favor where they become better. But with the narcissist, that doesn't happen at all. Narcissists cannot change, and we know this by now. You should know this by now if you've been watching my videos for quite some time, that narcissists cannot change. They have a need for admiration. They need to feel needed all the time. And if you just think about that for a second, being in a relationship with a narcissist, somebody who is narcissistic, who always has a constant need to be needed, that means that you the person, the empathetic person who's watching my video right now. And if it's your first video, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here. What I'm saying, if you're an empathetic person, just imagine that everything you do in your everyday, like you have to drop everything that you are doing just to cater to this narcissistic person. So let's just say, for example, you have an appointment. Let's say I go to the doctor. Let's say you have a doctor's appointment, for example, and then out of nowhere, the narcissist contacts you and they say that they're sick. They need you to come home. Let's say that you're in a relationship with them, or let's say it doesn't even have to be like a romantic relationship or a spouse or a girlfriend or a boy. It doesn't have to be that. Let's say it's your parent or your sibling or your best friend of 20 something years. And let's say they say, I'm sick. I need your help. And then you drop whatever you're doing and then you go and see them, but they're really not sick. They end up not being sick. And you wonder, you said that you're sick. And then they're like, no, I didn't say that. And then boom, that's how you know you're dealing with the narcissist, because now they're gaslighting you because they told you that they're sick. And now you come to find out that they're actually not sick. So what's happening there? What's happening there is that the narcissist, they want to feel needed. They need to feel like they're the only person that should matter to you and nobody else. Not your family, not your children, not your siblings. Nobody matters except for them. Right? So so this is where narcissism came from. The fact that Narcissus, who was a hunter, believed that he was the most best looking person on the planet, and as a result, he didn't see anything else. The only thing he could see was himself. That's why he rejected men, he rejected women. And so that in and of itself, guys, is where narcissism actually started. Right? Now when it comes down to it, I will say this, that narcissism in and of itself, it did start in the beginning, in the Bible, in the Garden of Eden. We have to remember that Satan was the number one deceiver of the world. And that is because Satan, in the Garden of Eden, what had happened was that he had everything. When God created Satan, Satan was the most best looking person on the planet and he had everything, right? But then what happened was that he abused that power, and then he went and he whispered to Eve when God told them not to eat the fruit off the tree. What he did was that he went and told Eve, if you eat this tree, you will be better than God, and you will know everything, right? And you will be the best person on the planet. And so he manipulated Eve right away. And as a result, when he manipulated Eve, then what happened? Well, what happened next is that now that Eve is manipulated, now she goes and tells Adam to do the same thing. And now before you know it, they both sinned against God. And that's why that's why we have all this chaos, confusion, and control that we have in the world today. That's why the narcissist thrives off of chaos, confusion, and control. Because again, the narcissist knows that if they can create chaos, if they can start manipulating somebody, right? If they can start by gaslighting somebody, and if they can start by smear campaigns, but someone spreading a false, sorry about that, guys. If the narcissist knows that if they can spread the smear campaign, tell a flat out lie to about somebody behind their back without them even knowing that it is happening, and then before you know it, this person's support system is being blown up. Their friends don't want anything to do with them. Their parents don't want anything to do with them. Their boss, maybe the narcissist got to their boss. The boss doesn't want nothing to do with them. Nobody in the community wants nothing to do with them. Then you know that now the narcissist knows that they've caused this chaos, and it makes them happy because they thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. So now that they've started that chaos, now they know that they have that person confused, because that person's wondering, why is it that this person who claims that they love me, why are they going around spreading all these lies about me to other people? And then once this happens, now the narcissist knows that they have that person locked down, because the narcissist knows that they've done this many times in the past. The narcissist knows that this is what they do. It's something that they need to do in order to maintain their false sense of self, their false sense of reality. See, you have to understand, narcissists, they don't live in the same reality that you and I live in, right? We live in a real reality where life is the way it is, that nobody is perfect, people make mistakes, people are who they are. I look the way I look because that's how God created me. You look the way you look because that's how God created you. No, the narcissist does not see it that way. The narcissist sees it that you must look and speak and do what the narcissist wants when they want you to do it with whom you want, with whom they want you to do that thing. Because the narcissist in and of themselves believes, like Narcissus, right? Narcissus the hunter, they believe that they in and of themselves are perfect and they don't need any admiration from men or women or anybody, but that they're perfect in everything, right? But that's just not the truth, right? We men and women, we were created in the image of God, right? We're human beings, right? And so because of that, because we're human beings, everyone, it's very important for us to understand that we live and we live to enjoy this life, this thing called life, and it's not a game. It's not to cause chaos, confusion, and control in another person's life on purpose. Because I can tell you guys this. The narcissist knows exactly what they are doing. They know that they're manipulating that person. They know that they're blowing up that person's weekend. They know that they're spreading the smear campaign and telling flat out lies about that person behind their back. The narcissist knows exactly what they are doing. And they do this because they are jealous. To their core, they believe that they're better than everybody else. They believe that they should be entitled to have the things that they do not have that somebody else has. If the narcissist sees that, let's say that the narcissist is your spouse. Let's say that the narcissist happens to be your wife or your husband. They believe that if you're a really good looking person and you do everything, you cook, you clean, you pay all the bills, and you take care of the kids, you do everything, and you do all that stuff, the narcissist believes that the person over there is much more better looking than you are, and that because the person over there, let's say that their kids are getting straight A's in school, and let's say that your kids, the narcissist believes that their kids aren't getting straight A's in school for some reason. The narcissist believes that they should have that spouse and that you shouldn't be in their life, because the narcissist believes that they should be entitled to have whatever they want, whenever they want it. That's why do you think the narcissist discards and goes off to another source of supply so fast? Why do you think it happens so fast? Because the narcissist believes that they believe that they in themselves are perfect and that they should have everything and more. But then when they get that everything and more, they no longer want that anymore, but they want something else. That's why they're always on the go. That's why they can't sit still. That's why they can't just enjoy the moment for what it is. That's why, and I was going to make a video on this, but I feel like now that I'm here now, I might as well just tie it into the same video. That's why narcissists ruin special occasions. That's why the narcissists, they can't be happy. Why does a narcissist ruin special occasions? Why would somebody just blow up a special occasion for someone else? The reason and the answer to that question is because that special occasion doesn't have anything to do with the narcissist. It's because the narcissist isn't being celebrated. It's because you're the one that is supposed to be being celebrated. And the narcissist believes that they should be on top. They should be the one that's being celebrated when it's your celebration, when it's your kid's celebration, when your kid graduates high school or something like that, and you're supposed to be celebrating that kid. The narcissist believes that it's their celebration, that they should be celebrated and they should get Parents of the Year or the best parents in the world for raising that kid to be able to graduate. Well, that's not true, narcissist. You shouldn't be getting Parents of the Year or best parent in the world because you did nothing but that. You didn't raise the kid. It was your spouse who raised the kid. It was your boyfriend or your girlfriend who raised the kid. It wasn't you. Where were you when that kid was having problems? You were nowhere to be found. You were probably on one of your smartphones looking for your spouse's replacement, or you were on one of your 3 smartphones because to do absolutely nothing, because you couldn't deal with the fact that you yourself didn't do as good in high school as your child did. Think about the wedding, for example. Think about your wedding, the fact that, you're getting married and you're being happy and all that stuff. Well, your parent who turns out to be a narcissist, they can't be happy for you because they know that their marriage ended in divorce, or they also know that they've never been married before and they see that their child got married, but they need to blow it up and they need to make you feel small because they know that that makes them feel good, because they need to be the center of attention. That's why narcissists always need to feel needed. So yeah, guys, so I hope that makes sense. I could say a lot more on this video, but I feel as though it won't do much justice. I don't feel like a video this long or this short will do much justice, but I've said all I need to say on this topic about narcissists and why the narcissist ruins special occasions. Because you have to remember, narcissists, they always need to feel needed. They need to feel like everybody notices them. And if they don't feel noticed, they need to steal the spotlight. They need to ruin it for everybody. Okay? So yeah, I hope that this video helped you out. If you like it, like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you understand what I'm talking about. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, if you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you want to talk about your situation, if you want to call even, send a text and let me know that you want to talk about narcissism. I'd be more than happy to give you the help that you need. And again, thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much again for being here, guys. Thank you.